And you've been on here, I think, twice before, maybe three times. But your book, Guns, Girls, and Greed, about your time in Blackwater, and I love it because it's I've done so many. And guys, please go in the description. Please go buy the book. Don't be a communist. Go buy the book. And even if you don't read it, I don't care. Just go buy the book. Put a couple shekels in his pocket. Go follow him on Instagram. That's the best. That's how the sausage is made. That's how ultimately. I don't care if you don't like me or him. Watch the fuck. Don't even watch the show. Retweet it and go do the subscribe. That's the brass tacks. Like, not to immediately start going into a schizophrenic rant, but when you look at like where are we sending aircraft, it's like, Brad, what's there? Oh, there's lithium there. Okay, I don't even care. But let's just be honest. Like that's what it is, guys. Go follow the socials, buy the book. That's the everything else is window dressing. Everything else is putting on a nice shirt, going to the bar, shaving, cologne, buying a drink, talking about some bullshit you never did. It's all window dressing. It's sex. That's what it is. So if you don't want to watch the show, you don't have to. Go buy the fucking book. Anyways, what I like having about you on is because I do so many shows, it's kind of funny going from like Delta Force guy who, they're just a different breed. I don't even think they have human DNA. And then like you go into your book, you're like, I don't even know what I was doing. You're like, because I was like a good shot, like naturally. And you go like, I bought throwing knives. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? In hindsight, you're like, Jesus, you went in there like I say this as someone who's never served. You went in there like Fedora Reddit, like I'm gonna fucking be. What the fuck did you just say to me? I have 300 confirmed kills. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let you talk. But yeah,
No, dude, I am so tired of those books that start with like, there I was at Bud's. I was at Bud's training, and then I'm looking down my sight, dude, because that's not how most combat is. Like, dude,
no,
those guys are like an elite level bad motherfuckers, dude.
yeah,
But that is like one out of every 5,000 people in the military is that dude, and
yeah,
I think that that's like a low number. So
yeah,
like my book just goes in and is like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I was just there for the party. And but you know, all these guys get a lot of praise and they deserve it, dude. Like they're still Team Six guys. And I
sure.
know a ton of those dudes. They deserve the praise. But the people that actually went in and like fought the fucking wars are the grunts, those Marine Corps guys that wear like thank me for my service, fucking purple heart hats and shit. Those guys went in and fucked shit up.
Those are
And
like, yeah,
it's
my shout out Don Workman. Yeah, Don and John. Those are the guys. Yeah.
yeah,
Combat Marines, just fucking, yeah.
just straight up, dude. And it's not like they had any support or any of these other, like,
No.
dude. I'll give it to like the Delta guys, the fucking the CAG dudes. They go in there. They have a very specific mission. They have every fucking optic, everything that you could ever use in your entire life, and they know how to use it, which is spectacular. And then you give these fucking grunts like an M16A2, like, dude, straight up, like, doesn't have like the
From
collapsible
Saigon.
barrel or short. Yeah, dude, like this is the shit from Vietnam, and these
Yeah.
guys go in and they just start fucking shit up, dude. And that's where wars are won. And dude, I'm not trying to even pretend like I was one of those guys. But same mentality, like,
Yeah.
yeah, some guy told me to go over here and stand here and wait, and if somebody shows me a gun, I'll shoot him in the face. And
Yeah.
dude, that's my book. It's like the ground perspective of war. And I think a lot of it shit gets lost between like the Navy SEAL books, the fucking political books, the goddamn generals that are sitting there patting themselves on the back and sit there and say, "Oh, we were making so much progress, and then somebody else came in and screwed it up." That's all bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Because the guys on the ground that are getting shot at, guys like me, fucking dude, if they don't tell you straight away, like I was scared shitless, and I think I might have pissed my pants, and I had bad athlete's foot, dude, they're lying to you. Like
Yeah.
that's just life.
Yeah. No, I haven't had on any of the there I was because I just refuse to do those because I don't they could kill me in an instant. I don't doubt that. I just don't want to have that. I also don't fault them because my logic is like, yeah, you know what? You can say thank you for your service, or you can let them write a beefed up book and get a payday. Which one's more? Which one's more sincere? I think letting them go and slap that trident on there, push the book out. Hey, if you can send your kid to a better school, that's so much more meaningful than thank you for your. So I also don't fault them. I'm like,
No,
hey,
dude.
had
Well,
it,
here
yeah,
I'll tell you where I fucking fault these guys, and it's because most of them get ghostwriters, and when they
well,
go
yeah,
through
that's
the
gay.
process, yeah,
That's
they're
gay.
like, "Oh, okay." I'm not trying to be a dick, dude. I'm not like a smart guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I wrote every word of this book,
Yeah.
right? And it takes a lot of time and energy to figure out how to write well to where people understand the story. And a lot of these guys, dude, they put in so much work becoming SEALs or CAG or SF or all that stuff, but they don't have the time or the energy to actually like learn how to write.
Yeah.
So they go and they get a ghostwriter. Ghostwriters have no military experience. And that's how Tim Kennedy turns into like, I
Yeah.
threw 50 grenades into this building and all this other bullshit because the guy that he's telling these stories to doesn't know how to interpret him because he was never there. And then it comes out and these guys are like, oh man, this guy's a liar, he's a faker, and all this other bullshit. The worst thing you can do for your reputation is go in and lie. Like, dude,
Yeah.
that's why I talk about like, yeah, dude, I shit my pants for the first 2 weeks because I had the Baghdad bug. I fucking had athlete's foot. Oh yeah, I shot at this dude. That was kind of cool. Hey, the next thing I know, you know, the Peshmerga are racing up and down the road, and goats are coming in and taking over our convoy. Like, I
Yeah.
can't do it. I can't do like the social media, the bro vet, as I call them. Here's
No.
what's gonna happen. You guys ready for this? Fucking Memorial Day is coming up, and every bro vet is gonna go on every social media and be like, Memorial Day is where we remember our fallen, and you shouldn't go and have a hot dog and a beer. And I'm like, bitch, every motherfucker I knew that died over there on Memorial Day, you know what they did before they died? They fucking ate hot dogs and drank beer, dude.
Got blackout drunk and jerked off kind of in public.
Yeah,
Like a
dude,
good
like
American.
yeah, exactly. So if you feel any trepidation of going and getting fucked up and enjoying your Memorial Day, don't, dude,
Yeah.
because
No, it's
the bro
yeah.
vets are twats about that.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
Ghost.
when that started.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. You're outsourcing it, but at the same time, you're right. If you get a guy to that's the kind of guy that's like, it had a high magazine clip and a belt-fed revolver. It's like, and then if you go, well, that guy was a ghostwriter, well, that's still on you because you didn't take responsibility, which is, by the way, something a lot of these guys espouse, right? So it's, but like Dale, who I've had, he's like not a normal data point. He was in Delta Force at 23. He's not really
Yeah.
like human. What I love about Dale wrote his book. And what I love about Dale's like you, dude. I mean, he talks about it. He's like, I remember being in selection, just walk. He's like, I wasn't even injured. I was just tired walking through the mud crying. Like, he's youngest ever member of Delta Force. He's just like, I don't want to do this. He's like, it's gay. He's like, I'll just tell my dad I broke my leg because his dad was Special Forces. That's why I love Dale. Like the story, he's like, my worst day when I was in Ground Branch downrange. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I ate bad lobster and threw up on my body armor. Like, that's why I love Dale. But you're right. You can't do that. And no, like yeah, they're buddies. They're like the guys I know who are in my age, enlisted Marine. Like, and like the true difference is we were born in like the same time. I happen to grow up in like a very stable, like upwardly mobile nuclear family, and they weren't.
Well, yeah, no,
I
no,
went
I
to a
was,
good
I was
school,
the,
and they went to boot camp.
yeah,
That's
that,
like a lot of
dude,
what it is.
you're describing me like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I came from a broken home, and my dad would come home and like, take down a 12er and try to beat up fucking
yeah,
anything that walked. But dude,
yeah.
the thing I will say about most special forces guys is that they are exceptionally intelligent,
Of course.
but dude, their attention span is like a Labrador retriever, dude. Like,
Which is
oh, there's
good
a
for like
bird.
what they're doing.
Dude,
Target,
it's
target,
great.
target.
But when you have to sit there and like sit down and write a book, dude, they're not that great. It's not that they couldn't. It's not that they couldn't put the time and the effort in to learn how to write. It's that it's just not their gig,
Yeah.
right? They're smart enough to do it. They're most of them are probably educated enough to do it. I can't tell you how many guys that probably. Oh, dude, I'll give you a story for one of the guys in the book. His name's Ray, and this motherfucker got so tired of the State Department guys talking shit to him and being like, "Oh, where'd you go to college?" And he's like, "I didn't go to college. I grew up working construction and shit and selling drugs. Like that's my life."
Yeah.
And
Like
he finally
America.
got pissed off and was like, "Dude, fuck it. I'm going to Harvard." Gets into Harvard, goes to he starts taking economics in Harvard, dude. Like it's no joke. And he's like, "Yeah, it wasn't that fucking hard." So I started doing econometrics, which is like Harvard is the best at econometrics. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
My
But
roommate
dude,
in college did it. It's black magic.
oh, dude, so he goes back and he's like sitting there protecting these diplomats, and they're like, "Where'd you go to college?" "I went to Bowdoin and I went to Tufts." And he's like, "I went to Harvard."
Yeah,
And they're
fucking
like,
eat a
"What?
dick.
What do you mean you went to Harvard? He's like, yeah, I studied econometrics at Harvard. Go fuck yourself. But
Yeah,
dude, he got a spite degree from Harvard. He paid $120,000 for a fucking spite degree.
I like that.
Yeah, and like,
I
dude,
like that.
that's my kind. And I talked to him like a couple months ago, and he's like, dude, I've never used that shit a day in my life. I just did it so I could sit there and be like, fuck you guys. You got a problem? Eat a dick.
Dale went and got a PhD in alternative medicine just because he was like, I just wanted to say it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Like that is the thing though. I mean, even in Black Hawk Down the book, they're talking about the some of the Delta Force, and a lot of them were like 4.0 students. Some of them were like Olympic like track stars, and they're like, yeah, I did Delta because like everything else was kind of easy, and like
Yeah.
that I expect that. Yeah, I absolutely expect that. But yeah, no, the like anything, I mean, the bro vet, it is you kind of start to understand like the military industrial complex, not because bro vets, but rather any blank kind of unofficial, I don't know, naturally arrived. I'm not even saying they're psyops, I'm sure a lot of them are, but any sort of self-organizing emergent phenomenon blob. It just it just is. Like I know some guys that do like prepper food, and one of the guys that was sponsoring my show for years was like he had to like stop after the election because he was like, and he's like a Trump guy. He's like, but everybody stopped buying it when Trump won. And I remember saying to him, I'm like, does that give you like a little empathy for like Raytheon? And he was like, kinda. I get it. He's like, I get it. He's like, why did they stop buying? Because it seems like we're not going to civil war, which is an objectively good thing. Man, it's hurting my bottom line now. And like, you do start to not have sympathy, but I almost understand something like that. Like, who's buying our $2 billion stealth bombers if China's not invading Taiwan? Like, we need India and Pakistan to fucking kill each other. And you do see it just like you, like, I don't understand, I don't know social media. I can do the hard work every day at the podcast. I can't do the fucking, what do you think? Like, share, and subscribe. Like, it legitimately makes me want to kill myself. But all I say on Twitter is like it's extremely like racist, xenophobic shit, and so it's actually helping the show. But like you do see that, it's all right. But like you can already like see it in your mind's eye. Like as soon as you said Brovet, without even naming anyone, you can already see giant beard, sleeve of tattoos. Let me tell you about my time in the slow-mo video of them running with a Gucci'd out M4, a bag of coffee, and like. I get it, and like you're making a couple shekels. Like I get it, but it's I think it's important to see what it is, and it's like it's an
It's a game.
industrial complex. It's a racket. Hey, I get it. Go bang people over the head for a couple bucks. Go for it. But I get it, and I don't really want to talk to them because I don't think there's anything there. Which is back to your. I think that what I told you is like it's like it's your book is if Tucker Max was in Blackwater. Like that's and I mean that as like the best possible compliment. But like that's what it is. Is you talking about shitting yourself, or yeah, you talking about throwing knives, and then like
Hookers. Oh,
yeah,
so many hookers.
hooker, yeah, getting just blackout drunk and like throwing shit off the diving board, or fucking not the Dale I know. I don't want Dale to kill both you and I, but the fictional Dale who like kind of wanted to jerk you off in your dorm or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's a much more realistic, honest take of what it's like.
Oh, dude, there was one guy. I didn't put this in the book, but there was one guy. He was part of the whole Generation Kill crew, and he loved trannies, dude. He loved them. Loved trannies.
Go for it.
And dude, look, nobody gave a crap. This is
Yeah,
the thing.
Godspeed.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh well, the military is racist, and it's dude. We didn't give a shit what color
Mhm.
you were. If you're black, white, Asian, dude, it didn't matter. You were either a good dude or you weren't a good dude. Now look, most of us were just dumb redneck white guys. Like that's who gets recruited into the military. That's who goes into Blackwater. But this guy is like, he'd have like the Chicks with Dicks magazine, and we'd be like, dude, we called him, yeah. What fuck, dude? What was the name? Golem. We called him Golem. He
Oh
fucking hated
God,
it. Like from fucking
Lord
Lord
of
of the
the
Rings,
Rings.
Golem. Yeah, and he'd be like, "Here's the problem, guys: is that you guys see a dude with tits, and I see a chick with a penis." And for a second there, you just have to take a second and go, "I get where you're coming from. It's still a dude with tits, But I get it. I
I,
get it,
I see
man.
it. I get
Yeah.
it. I'm not for it, but I totally get it. You're
And
seeing
then the
you're
other
seeing
half of the
tits
time,
with like a little bit of a hurdle,
yeah.
you know?
And
But a
there's other
hurdle that
holes.
excludes a lot of other guys, you know? It's
Yeah.
like why it's like it's that meme. People ask why I flirt with married women or why I flirt with women in relationships. Why would I go to the hot chick at the bar? I'm competing with 1,000 other guys.
Oh, dude, no,
I
dude.
got to compete with one.
It's like, dude, why do you hit on single moms? Because you know they've had sex at least once,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. And it's like that's what. So I guess I had a really good looking friend in college, just smart dude, lawyer, and he would always just, it's right, he would just bag the ugliest fucking chicks. And my other buddy, who's still probably to date the smartest person I've ever met, he was like, it's really not that hard once you understand that it's the path of least resistance and his goal is breasts. That's it. And once I saw that everything else made sense, and like how fucked up he'd be like unstable drunk before we even like left, like how quickly he'd leave. It all made perfect sense. And I guess the next natural iteration of that is go to tits, the only tits that guys don't want, which is
Yeah.
being attached to a dick. I mean, in a way, I kind of I kind of
You
respect the order of operations.
dude, like you respect it. Like you don't have
Yeah,
to understand it, but you can
I
kind of get
understand
to it.
it. You're
Yeah.
you're it's you're acquiring the target, you're moving in and you're closing the distance. I think maybe he could be special forces that way. He's like, I found an easier way. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah. I mean, why not? And like the other guy you talked about in your book, your buddy who's like a cuck. And it has such like a derogatory term publicly, but you didn't give two thoughts to yeah, I mean, yes, go for it. What the fuck do you care?
yeah. That's why I'm starting my new political party. It's called the Leave Me the Fuck Alone Party.
Won't work.
And here, dude, think of it, foreign policy. You leave me the fuck alone, I leave you the fuck alone. We're gonna be fine.
I
Like,
think
dude,
I think we started with that in this country, and that's gotten us where we are. I agree
uh,
with you. I
yeah.
think we've tried it.
Well, we try it, and then we slowly creep into like the morality of, oh, you shouldn't be able to have an abortion, and you shouldn't be able to own guns, and you shouldn't be able to call, you know, somebody who identifies as a woman is a man, dude. Like the morality slowly creeps in, and I think we just need to get back to the leave me the fuck alone party. Just, I'll tell you what, you leave me alone. I'll have as many guns as I want. I'll leave you alone. And dude, I'll call you Jane if you've got an Adam's apple. I don't even care. Like, dude, it's no skin off my butt.
Yeah.
As long as we're leaving each other alone. The problem is that people are like, yeah, but I need you to accommodate me in this. Like, you have to love guns because I love guns. And it's like,
Yeah.
do you? Do you?
Yeah.
You really?
No, yeah, no, I definitely see that. But I think like one of the, and we talked about it last time, but I think one of the, like the most interesting parts and it's one of the most honest parts is just the whole like, well, why do you keep going over? And it's like it's a paycheck and you kind of enjoy it. And I think that's like such like a more realistic analysis of what it is than anything else. It's like you know how to do it. You can't grab any. You can't send me over there today. I mean, give me a couple months maybe, but you can't send. You know how to do it, and it's like an above average paycheck. And I think that is just such a more deeper than it even sounds at first. But like, why do these things persist? Why do they exist? Because you know how to do it, and you can go do it. So why
Well,
wouldn't
dude, this is the one thing people don't understand about being deployed is that it is the easiest life you're ever going to have, except you might die, right?
you? Yeah,
Dude,
but
you
that's
don't
not
have to
your
cook.
problem anymore.
Well, you don't have to cook your own food. You don't have to wash your own laundry. You don't have to do anything. Like there's nothing that you do at home, paying your bills, all that stuff. Like, yeah, you kind of have to do that to a certain extent, but you can do that all online. But literally from the time you wake up when you're not operating, it's just your time. It's your time to go work out. It's your time to go play video games. It's your time to read. It's your time to do whatever. Like literally, you drop your fucking clothes off to some guy, and they come back and they're folded, and you take them back to your
Ready
room.
to
You
put
throw them on the
on.
floor. Yeah, dude, it is literally like all of your Maslow's hierarchy of
Yeah.
needs are being attended to, except you might get shot. Like
Which,
that's it.
to be completely fair, it still applies even domestically.
Yeah, then
I mean,
South
I might get
Chicago.
blasted, right? I mean, no, but I totally get it because like I don't even have that, but just like living in an apartment where there's like the rent's more, but it's like they take care of everything. I mean, it's 1 in the morning and like the fire alarm chirps once. I can like text somebody and they'll come up and fix it. Toilets like not flushing correctly within an hour fixed. I mean, truly, hey, the fridge is running weird. 2 days later, like new fridge. Nothing. I don't know. I don't know a penny. I don't have to do a thing. Hey, keep your door unlocked. All right. So like for that to be scaled up, and I also get it more in like getting into medical school and college, and then like realizing like I don't fucking want to do this at all, deciding not to go, trying psychedelics, losing a brother to suicide, like an amalgamation of shit together was like I want to go and pave my own way, and it took, I mean, I don't know, almost 12 years to get to this point where it pays for my rent and I get to do it. Like right now, this is work. This is my work day, is just shooting the shit with you. And like that's awesome. Like I don't have to go to the office. I don't have to do anything. And it's like, well, how much do you make? Are you making like million? Like, no, I make far below like the average for a 34-year-old man. The upside is no, I owe nothing to no one. I do whatever I want. I talk to whoever I want on my own schedule. That being said, and was it worth it? Yeah, I'd say it was. For me personally, I to me it was like the greatest path of just like I just get to do whatever. It has, however, completely made me relook at the rat race. I don't think I would do it still, but I don't look down my nose at it like I did for most of my 20s. I look at it now and I go, morning commute sure sucks. Set hours, a much better salary than I make, insurance, and come Friday, you take it and it's gone. You just show up Monday. I totally get that. There is none of that in this. Every day is how am I getting this funded? Where are the revenue sources? Is it working? What am I on this topical thing? Am I adapting? Am I changing? What's the feedback? I got to look at the analytics. I got to fucking learn how to graph and extrapolate and go, am I going to make it on time for this? And yeah, if you took that and just apply it to kind of everything being done for you, I totally get that just from a 9 to 5 standpoint. So you just go one step further and go, what if instead of his 9 to 5, it was just like you go and shoot a gun? And like statistically, you're not gonna die. Why
Oh
wouldn't?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely see how you fall back onto that. Why wouldn't you?
So, dude, this is something I don't really talk about often, but the military is the closest thing to socialism that we have in the United
Mhm.
States.
Yeah.
It is by far the
David
closest
Vine,
thing.
Base Nation, his book Base Nation goes into that. He was like, it is the most complete and efficient socialist network ever built in the world.
Well, dude, because it's like a lot of people love the structure. So, dude, here's what I notice is that the people that go into the military and they think they're going to love it, they usually hate it because it doesn't meet their expectations, right? The people that go into the military thinking I'm just going to do 4 years and get out, they stay in way longer because somebody is telling you where to be, what to wear. What, dude, they call it like the three rights: right place, right time, right uniform. If you get those three things right, dude, you can have a career in the military. Then they pay for your housing, they pay for your food. You get extra money if you're married. You get extra money if you have 7 or 8 different fucking kids, dude. Like everything, like it's very socialistic. You're going to meet a certain rank at a certain time and you're going to make it to E7. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you don't fuck up really bad, you're going to make it to E7. You're going to retire. It is socialism. And I think guys like you and I, we feel like that restricts us. And we're willing to say, I'm not interested so much in the money aspect as the freedom. So we wouldn't we don't play nice in places like those. Whereas a lot of people, dude, they like that 9 to 5. Yeah, dude, they'll bitch about their commute, but at the end of the day, they know that when 4:30 hits, they're closing their computer, they're heading home, and then they get to leave it at work. Um, I've always said, if I could go work at Circle K and make enough money to be comfortable and have my kids comfortable, dude, I'd fucking do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
because I get to leave everything at Circle K. My job right now, I don't get to just leave it at the end of the day, right? Like there's things that, but that's a compensation.
Yeah.
That's the difference between making $50,000 a year versus making $25,000 a year, right? Like that's it's all just like balancing one way or
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah. And I know I couldn't do, I mean, that's honestly why I wanted to be a doctor. I loved biology and I loved the idea of helping people. I literally looked at it and I was like, I'll always have a job. China invades, that what? Okay, I gotta learn Mandarin. They're not gonna kill the surgeons. They have organs too. Like that's how I looked at it. I was like, I'll always have a job and not a bad job. I'll be making a lot, get to wear a white coat, be a doctor. I was like, that's not like a bad existence. And but for me, I'm a crazy person and like I wanted to do more. And Tim, my favorite comedian, Tim Dillon, explains that he was like, this is before he became like super rich, but even just when he got to the point where he could pay for his apartment through comedy, he was like, it's pushing off from the dock in a shitty boat you made yourself, and at the bottom of the lake, all around you, are the husks of 100 different ships you tried. You can't explain the feeling, the euphoria of when you realize this thing's finally floating and it's held together with bubble gum and dildos and but it's there. Well, what's the point? That's not as impressive as a canoe or a yacht. No, it's not, but it's my I also know that I can now build much better things. But then you also go, well, what's the point of it? And you go, well, now I can leave the shore. Now I can go see what's and for some people, like that is worth it. For me, it was. I also don't have a wife and kids. I think that's another huge constraint, and not in a bad way. I just definitely see this. If I fuck this up, it's on me. I'll figure it.
Yeah.
I got into medical school. I have enough brain cells to figure something else out after this. Man, if you got a couple little kids and a wife, that I don't think I would be able to go into this boldly because you got to provide for them. And
Well, dude, it changes the equation, but I think that there's just a certain type of people or person or personality that's going to say, "Fuck it, I'll be able to figure it out regardless." You'll sit here and say, "Yeah, if I had a wife and kids, maybe I'd be working the
I
nine to
know I
five
wouldn't. That
job."
was I
No,
as
you
soon as
wouldn't
I said
fucking
that,
do
I
it.
was like, that's so full of shit.
Yeah, because dude, I mean, I keep trying to figure out like I could retire. Like if I really needed to, I could just retire right now. But then what the fuck am I going to do with my time? Right? And yeah, it's like so what am I going to I'm going to run more. I'm going to go out and jog. Like dude, I can't figure out what I would do. And dude, I think that's kind of the paradigm of the military, right? You get these guys, you let them retire after 20 years, they're 38 to 42. Yeah, they're making enough money to survive, but they're not making enough money to survive. So they get out and they're like, fuck, what do I do next? And people just get lost, dude. They get lost. Now, here's the other problem is you get these guys that get out of the military after 4 years, they get on disability through the VA. It's enough money for them to be able to survive, and they do nothing, dude. You have an entire generation of GIs that have figured out the VA system that are like not working. And dude, I know a number of them. They literally sit there and like, what the fuck do you do all day? Some of them are stay-at-home dads, but both of their kids are 3, 4 kids. They're all in school during the day. It's dude. It all goes back to Maslow, right, dude? Like if you have enough to pay your rent, you got housing, you got food. Then what do you do with that? And then some people are like, dude, I want to kind of build, and some people are like, no, I'll sit right here. It's like that book, Who Moved My Cheese?
I haven't read that, but I do. I know a couple do like vets who are no. I mean, it's when I say nothing. I mean they do nothing.
Shockingly nothing.
I
Like
mean,
you're amazed at how little they can get accomplished.
like my off days look like where I'm like I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do my game stream, I'm gonna hit the gym, I'm gonna. They do on. I mean, and again, I don't know. I think you should be allowed to. That should probably, I would imagine, I think that should probably be the default for like veterans. Like you went into this, You could have died. You didn't. If you want to watch TV, here's enough to do that. I To me that look. I think I would kill myself.
I do
Like I
too.
don't even mean that lightly. Like I think I would. I don't. I mean, do nothing. I mean, maybe they've achieved enlightenment and there's some like bodhisattva fucking eightfold path of enlightenment figure and like in their own mind they've like broken the walls of space and time and they're all dimensional like Christ conscious. Hey, maybe. And okay.
Probably not.
I know.
Well, dude, that's why people are like, so you like you got a career. Why would you peddle a book? And it's like, one, it's just a cool fucking story, and two, it's something else to do, right? Like it, I could knock out another book tomorrow, but I don't think this one has reached where it needs to be for me to sit there and I've already started one about my white trash childhood because I think it's fucking hilarious, dude. It's like my dad teaching my mom karate lessons. You know, when you're like 4 and you don't understand stuff except for what you see on like
I
TV.
love when my parents do karate every night. That's
Yeah, and
harsh. Jesus
it's
Christ.
like, dude, you know, my dad's in there teaching my mom some karate, and she's not learning very
In the
fast because
kitchen
she looks like a
and
panda. No, literally, yeah, in the
yeah.
kitchen. Yeah,
Jesus.
um, but dude, it's there there's people that sit there and they get comfortable and they'll say, I'm not doing anything else. And then there's somebody that's like, well, what can I do next? And dude, maybe you make money on it, maybe you don't make money on it. But at the end of the day, like just fucking do what's next. I can't imagine not.
I don't even I think earlier in my life I would have looked down on the people that do nothing. I gotta be totally honest. I I bet it's nice. I would like to step into their brains subjectively. Like it might just be peaceful as fuck, dude. It might be that feeling when you wake up at like 2 p.m. on a Saturday and like birds are chirping and it's like not hot, it's not cold, and you slept enough, but you're not hungover, and you just kind of stand up and you're like, like it might just be that 24/7. I doubt it, but like it might be. Hey, I mean, that'd be fucking awesome. I mean, if they've attained some form of nirvana, I don't know. I know for me, if I'm not figuring something out, if I'm not solving a problem, I get deeply, deeply depressed. And it's like back to my buddy and like the tits is the path of least resistance. It's also not. It's as soon as you come up to another barrier, that's what might push you back into the previous employment. It's not that you didn't want to go try something else. It's that like I know people that have like started a podcast and they get 6 months in and they're like, dude, no one's watching. I'm like, well, you gotta keep going. And they're like, but I have no guarantee it's even gonna work. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like the crazy person part. Like, you don't know. You're like, you're not going to a finish line. There's no location on the GPS. You're just going, I think it's east. And they're like, well, what happens after a year? And they're like, when did it start working for you? I'm like, around episode 1500. And they're like, Jesus. I'm like, yeah, you have to be unhinged. Like, but I can see where you want to kind of go do something else. And then this barrier arises, and you go, and then what was the previous thing? Everything's taken care of. Like you said, you're that age, you're making more money than you know what to do with. You're getting shit faced. It is cool that you get a gun. Yeah, I can see where the path of least resistance is. You kind of just roll back
Just go
into it,
back to it.
and you go, I'll figure it out next time.
Well, dude, and I had to eat a lot of crow when I got back into the military after Blackwater. Oh, dude, I dude, it was miserable, right? Because you go from big boy rules, we're gonna go get drunk at the pool, like just leave your
Oh
weapons in the
yeah,
room, to like somebody sitting there and questioning everything you do. And then when you start off as an officer, it doesn't matter how much experience you had. You always start off as like the fucking butter bar, right? The second lieutenant. So people think that you're coming straight out of college and you don't know what the fuck is going on. I remember somebody grabbed my helmet. We were doing a field training exercise. Somebody grabbed my helmet, and I know exactly how I like my helmet. You take all that fucking padding out, you put the big pad on the top, you put that on the front so that you have the most padding on the front, and then it actually sits down over your ears,
yeah,
and then you put padding around that. If not, dude, you look like one of those stupid mushroom people on the goddamn dude. You've seen pictures of these people overseas, dude. Their
yeah.
helmets like way the fuck up here. It's because their padding's all dicked up and they haven't broken it in. So I leave, I walk back into my tent and my padding's all fucked up. And I was like, who messes my helmet? And this E7's like, oh, we helped you out, sir. And I was like, if you touch my fucking helmet again, I'm gonna rip your goddamn balls off and I'm gonna stuff them down your throat. This is not my first rodeo. And everybody's like, oh. And then they finally
Oh.
figured out like I was prior enlisted, I was a Blackwater guy, and they were like, okay, leave this guy the fuck alone. But dude, I think that's the military, like you described the military, like what's the easiest to fall back into. And every time somebody has to go through that re-up process every 4 years or 6 years, whatever it is, they look at it and they say, that's kind of unknown. That's me getting off the shore, and I'm not ready for that yet. But I'm ready to get off the shore if, you know, I have my retirement. If I got that $2,000-3,000 coming in every month. And then they're still not ready to get off the shore. So they just, I don't know, survive, man. It is kind of weird.
It is, but it's also like I say it's weird because I think it's weird and I couldn't do it. You say it's weird because you think it's weird and you couldn't, or you did do it and you can't do it anymore. It can't statistically be weird if that is what the vast majority. Now, I don't mean vast. I mean almost 100%. Not vast majority of like it's 51. I mean like 99.985 of every human that's ever lived since the agricultural revolution 10 millennia before Christ walked is like, hey, I got food, water. I like my wife enough. Kids are, I like them. They get to every Friday. I sit around the bonfire with the boys. It's good enough. It can't be bad if the over in again, not like yes, some guys do that. Some guys become plumbers. No, no, no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about steady employment, like that saturates from the Fertile Crescent to the Persian Empire to now. Why do you do it? You can take like the sexy, I mean, an unacknowledged special access program looking at radar absorbing material on the next generation stealth bomber. Do you like it? You know, it's steady job. Like it, no matter what it is, it's still so it can't be weird. You and I are weird, but yeah, I don't know.
Bro, dude, have you heard the old adage for every supermodel out there, there's a guy that's tired of fucking her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that is every job I've talked to. And look, dude, I hang out with guys like me. I don't hang out with the guys that are like, hey, this is great. Let's go to happy hour on Thursday. Like I hang out with guys that are kind of high performing dudes. And you realize like every job you have gets boring. The
Hmm.
surgeons, dude, I got a buddy that's a doctor. And he's like, I can't wait to stop being a doctor. I'm going to go get like 12 apartments. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run apartments. I've worked in the medical field. People are like, dude, I don't want to be a doctor anymore. I want to be on the operation side. You spent how many years? 12 years after high school getting this degree and getting this training. And you're like, I don't fucking like it. And dude, it's everywhere. Dude, plumbers get tired of plumbing. Like nobody that's done a job and gets really proficient, really good at it sits there and is like, wow, I'm really content with this. Like I think it gets mundane regardless. It's just how much mendacity can you deal with at any given time? Because dude, I'll tell you, at Blackwater, every day there was a mortar, there was a rocket, there was something that could have killed you, and it was still fucking mundane. And by the end of it, I was like, I'm not getting paid enough to do this shit, dude. I was
Yeah.
making $550 a day. For inflation, you're looking at
You know how much
900
I
something
would.
bucks a day. Yeah,
I make about if I average it out over and only recently, only in the last 10% of the podcast, I'm maybe approaching $100 a day in 2025. So
which is which
when
is
I say
four
I'm not
dollars.
making that when I yeah no when I say I'm not making a lot of people like how much you make I'm like it's enough for me like below 40 grand a year, which is fine because this is what I wanted. I also have extrapolated it, and there's also no ceiling. There's a ceiling for being a doctor. If I and this is you can see the crazy person start to come out as we start talking. I'm like, there's no ceiling for this. I know it can go forever, or or I'll die. But dude, you're making fun of, and yeah, I would get about as far as going to like job searching and then stop. Like I would type that would be the extent of me breaking out of that bubble. I would kill for that today. Like,
Well, dude, so
and
so
what year was that? 05, 2010.
04,
Okay,
oh
okay,
four.
let's okay, keep talking. I'm gonna pull up a
Inflation
fucking
adjusted, it comes
calculator.
out to like
Yeah.
900 bucks a
You
day. I
fuck
checked it
off.
the other
I'm gonna
day.
end this show. Why am I
Now this
fucking
dude,
he's fucking kill what happened to
so
Tommy's show? He's in Blackwater now.
so I got a buddy that's getting ready to jump on a contract in Gaza. I don't know if you've seen the news about this, but essentially, they hired U.S. private military contractors to do checkpoint operations in between Egypt and Gaza, and
Okay.
U.S. dudes. And then there was a ceasefire. They were over there. The ceasefire ended. They pulled them out of there. Now they've changed it to where they are going to be running aid into Gaza. So they're going to
When
be
was that?
protecting aid trucks. This has just come out in like the last 2 weeks. So
That's
my
wild
buddy,
because Israel's been like destroying all the aid trucks.
oh dude, it's spectacular because it's
Is
straight
this a
up.
flex? Is this a flex on Israel to be like hit it?
This is like straight up like Somalia 1993 shit,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
dude, it's coming.
You're
So
oh
my
man,
buddy's gonna do this, and he's making 1,300 bucks a day, which is fucking stupid money. Don't get me wrong,
that's
but
more
it's
than you
also
were. That $946 a day
yeah.
was you did a day. Yeah.
But dude, the risk reward for an extra 400 bucks a day, essentially. And he's like, "Fuck it, I don't have like my kids are out of the house. I'm gone. I'm gonna go do this
Dude,
shit."
yeah.
So like, there are people that were contracted with me 20 years ago that are still in the game, and it's not that they haven't made enough money. It's they've probably blown it all, dude. Like Macron fucking snorting cocaine and shit.
Yeah.
They probably blew all that shit. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but they haven't needed to actually do these jobs, but they just keep chasing the high because where else are you going to get that, dude? Where you're sitting there bonsaiing down the road with a 240 Bravo and being
That's
like,
what I mean. Is like that's what I mean. Is like doing this show is I mean truly terrifying. Like not knowing if it's gonna work. Like legitimately like every day like it's a Christmas break and in my mind I'm like, well, if I do this guy next week and I have these four guys and that guy said he might get back and it never ends and it's terrifying. But man, when it does break, when you do get a show that just the gears start turning and it doesn't make it, but goes the next step. Dude, it is meth to the dick. And like it's my work and it's like if this opens up and it's like well then I could do this and then I could do that and from the one year the show did like very well over it, and I bought a 90-inch TV and like I still play video games on it every night and like so for me I'm like there are very real rewards on like bigger TV and games but yeah it's like the risk is high but man it's and then you also like you do die at any point like you do at a certain point like what are you saving it all? Me and my buddy are playing Escape from Tarkov right now, and like we've been crawling up, and it's like a post of whatever the fuck, and you get better, and you afford more gear, and go from a shitty Russian pistol to Gucci'd out HK stuff. But you hit a point where we've started like accumulating tons of money, and then I'll be like, well, why do we have this? And I'll be like, well, let's just go to the hardest level with the hardest enemies. Why? And it's like, I just want to feel something. Like, and it's like, what is the point? Why not? 1,300
dude,
bucks a day, dude, and you're
why not? That is,
like,
dude, that is literally like that was the mantra of my life in my younger years. Like, why not, dude? Like there's adventure here. Why not?
it, and it's I know you can interrupt whenever, but like what more and more like I like I've been sober for like a year and a half now because I'm a faggot and a disappointment to Irish people everywhere. But like I play video games every night and I have for as long as I can remember. I love them. I love solving problems. If it's a game I've played before, I'll mute it and listen to audiobooks. There's something about it just soothes me. I start to go crazy though once I've figured it out. Like once I've figured out the game, no matter what it is, like a flight simulator or a sniper game or Hitman, where you're like a kind of like a James Bond character or whatever. I love going in and like not knowing what the fuck to do, finding it out, making all the rookie mistakes, getting better, unlocking all the gear, all the skill trees, and then finally, like the cum shot, the best part is when I figure out a meta tactic that is not well known. It's not in like the tutorials. When I find some weird glitch of like the people that find out, if you slide while you're reloading, it actually cancels it, and so you have infinite ammo. Like for me, it's like when I find something else like that, I feel like I've solved the Rubik's Cube. And I also know when I hit that point, I've got about 3 more days with the game. I'm starting to look to I just finished, and she's like, "What are we?" And I'm like, "I gotta run." Like I start to, and I know it's coming. And if I don't find a new game, I literally start thinking like, maybe I should just get blackout drunk and go on a racist rant on the podcast. Maybe that will help it work out. And I'm like, why did I just think that? Like that's not like I'll start thinking that. And I always used to look at it as like an issue of like, why can't you just be content? And I now look at it as like a feature of life. Like, okay, you do get bored with the game eventually. Let's just say it's 30 days. From day 27 to day 30, you've kind of finished it. What about those 27 days? Man, I'd love it. When I get up early, I go to the gym, do the pot all day. I'm like, I want to finish up my work quicker. I want to get it done. I want to hop on that game. I want to figure it the fuck out. I love it. Truly, I love it. And then I kind of go into like a deeper ontological, like, well, what is really the purpose of like being here? This subjective experience, consciousness, reality, existence itself. It's great to, biologically, it's to reproduce. It's great to find someone you love and that loves you, and you guys can, open up to each other. It's great to have an imagine to be a father. It's good to help friends out. It's good to leave the world like a little bit better than you found it. Like I get the checklist, but it is to experience. And like if you've experienced life, if you're some god-esque being and you've been in existence forever and you've done everything and anything, at a certain point, like don't you want to go play a game for the sake of the game? And I know that's like a much deeper level. I doubt that's the logic behind going into contractor checkpoints, but I do get it at a certain point. Like what is the point of all of it? Man, I think it's the
I honestly
subjective
don't.
experience
I
of
honestly
thrill.
don't. I don't think it's that much different, dude.
Well,
To be
okay,
completely
okay.
honest with you, like that's the crazy part is like, so
To go
in
out and feel, to go, yeah,
well, yeah, dude, in you're kind of in your comfort zone. So I mean, in the book, I talk about how Baghdad felt like it was home, right? Like it just felt like home at some point. And then I come home and it doesn't feel like home. And then I go into college, dude. There's nothing worse than being like a combat vet going in to college, talking like these 19-year-olds that are talking about, oh my god. And I reference it in the book. The Virginia Tech shooting happened when I got home, and I was in a sociology of criminal justice or something, and the guy's like, oh, I think we need to talk about Virginia Tech, and I was like, nobody wants to raise their hand, so I raised my hand. I was like, that guy's a fucking pussy. Fuck that guy. Like he didn't even have the balls to stand there and get into a shootout. He killed himself. Like what a
yeah.
joke. And the whole class was just appalled by what I was saying because he wanted to talk about like what led to the
What
reasons
caused it?
for him to do
Was
it.
he
And I was like,
misgendered and that's why he shot 33 women in the face?
yeah. So, dude, like there was nothing worse than that. But I had to sit there and say, I got to finish college to go into the military. I'm going into the military to do that next, like, big boy life step. Because if I didn't do the big boy life step, I was just going to keep going back to contracting, and I'd be on my 17th marriage, and I'd have no money in my pocket. And I'd be like, yeah, that guy's a contract sounds good. That should be fun. Like, dude, I'm fucking 44 years old. At some point, you also have to realize that time is undefeated,
Hmm.
and a 44-year-old going out there and getting into the shit is not the same as a 23-year-old going out there and getting into the shit just physically, right? Like smart dude. I mean, Tom Brady was a better quarterback when he was older, don't get me wrong, but he was not going to be the guy that ran down the
Not
field
'04
96
Brady.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, it is weird to me that people can still default back to that setting to say maybe I could still do this in my 40s or 50s. Dude, okay, so the guy that tried to suck my dick in the book, he turned 45 when we were over there, and we called him Grandpa.
Yeah.
And now I'm 44, and I'm like, could I really be the guy that went over there at 44 years old, had everybody call him Grandpa and be like, man, back in my day with Blackwater, we were Blackwater.
Dude, we at Blackwater, we wasn't XE back
Yeah.
then. Yeah, man, that's I think I think if you're at the apex, like Delta Force, I can see going back to that because they are. I got to imagine it's like a when the cat's eyes go black when it sees a toy. I got to imagine it's that because you are the best in the world doing the craziest shit. Short of that, I don't know if I see it. I think I see it more like you. I totally get getting that might sound contradictory because early on I was saying I can see how you go back. No, I can see how you keep going back for even 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's got to run out eventually.
So, dude, when I got back to Iraq as an army officer, I was getting ready to pin on captain, and we were supporting a special forces thing. Dude, if anybody ever tells you that they supported special forces, just know they're a turd, right? And
Well,
I'm telling you right now, we supported special forces guys doing signal intelligence. So I wasn't doing anything cool by any stretch
yeah.
of the imagination. And these SF guys came over and they were like, "Hey, you should put in a packet to go to selection, and then I'll have my like battalion commander like pull your packet. You get through selection, we'll bring you over." And they're out of Colorado, and I was like, "No, dude. Like I've already done my cool shit."
Yeah.
Like I think that there's some point in life where you have to sit there and say, "I've either already done my cool shit, or I'm gonna keep trying to do my cool shit and figure out when I'm done with it later." But by 2010, it was like I had spent 3 years in Iraq. I had fucking deployed all over the world. I had no desire to go through and prove to another motherfucker that I could get through selection. Dude, I was running marathons. I guarantee I could have made it through. And it's not my hubris, right? Like at the end of the
Oh,
day,
sure. You have the experience, the athletic acumen. Yeah.
yeah, like I could have made it. And then I was like, but do I want to be the guy that just keeps hunting this stuff? Or do I want to be the guy that can actually say, hey, I tried that. It was really fucking cool. And now I actually want to be able to go to my own house. Dude, this is the longest I've ever lived in a house in my fucking life. And dude, that's from childhood. Every
That's
year we would
awesome.
move because they would kick us out. They'd be like, you haven't paid your rent. They kick us out. So we had our annual move, like right in May, June timeframe. So like living in the same house for a while was actually for me, it was like, that's kind of a new adventure.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
hey, my dad didn't come home and karate chop my mom tonight. That's a new adventure, bro.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, and mine was not at all that. Yours was came from a much darker place, but like my dad grew up like in not like poor. I mean, like fucked up poor, and like just got into sales and got the fuck out of his like shit town. And he had four sons and was like, I want them to have a life like unrecognizable to mine. Gated community, private Catholic school. But because of that, he always took every raise because it was just he finally had money. And so
Yeah.
for me, it was every like 3 to 4 years, and it sucked as a kid. You lose all your friends, but like I look back at it now, I'm like, life could be so fucked. Like get over it. Shut the fuck up. Make a new. Here's Nintendo. Like get over it. And honestly, it's probably why I can do podcasts. Is I learned to talk to people. But for me, like the biggest win of like this podcast and being able to just not have to find a new job and be like, well, what's the was a couple years ago, being like, I want to go up and be like in New England. Like I was in Maryland at the time. I was like, I want to go be in New England, be closer to mom and dad, be closer to like my little brother got married, and just be closer and like be in control of that for the first time in my life. And like, I'm with you. It's a wild new experience.
It's weird.
That
It's
there's
it's
not
it's
just like, well, am I going to be here next year? I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna stay here because I like being. I and the podcast has gotten a little bigger. I was able to get a an apartment with a guest room. Now my mom and dad come and stay with me. To me, I'm like, this is a wild new experience I never had. Like this is my home. No, I don't think I'm gonna move. And it is very like, what the fuck is this?
I, I know nobody's kicked me out of my house. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, and dude, this is like everybody in the book. Almost all of them have these fucked up weird childhoods, right? Like that's why you went into the military, is to get away from your home. But there was a Kirby vacuum salesman that came to our house, dude, sold us like the top of the line. Oh, dude, fucking chef kiss Kirby vacuum. And dude, we were so excited to have this vacuum that we weren't even having to be told to vacuum for like
Just
3
back, you're
months.
just
It was
vacuuming.
that fucking cool, dude. And then after like 8 months, we weren't paying on the Kirby vacuum and they repossessed it. Now, dude, how many motherfuckers have had a
Have a
vacuum
repossessed vacuum.
repossessed Kirby
Damn.
vacuum? Like, dude, that was just my childhood. Is like,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
no,
it's kind
that's
of cool.
fucked.
I can, if I wanted to, dude, I could fucking buy my own Kirby right now and nobody gets to take that motherfucker away. And that's actually kind of pretty cool.
No, it is cool. And like, but that's how I look at it. Some because everyone, because what you're about to say, I think what you're about to say is like that's kind of sad. But I find that with myself, I'm like, how cool is it that I get to like live in one spot and not worry about leaving? And I'm like, that's kind of sad. But then I stop myself. I'm like, it's fun and exciting for me. Like, why the fuck do I care? It's fun and exciting. Like, it's cool. I like it. And like, I think that's kind of what it is. Um,
Now the problem is that when you get comfortable and you're like, this is fun and exciting, and it happens to be in Baghdad or Kirkuk or fucking like that's where you start getting into the weird stuff in the book where like, dude, I've had 100 GIs read this thing and they've been like, that felt real. Like when you said Baghdad was my home and I was comfortable there and I was more comfortable there talking to my buddies than going home and arguing with my aunt over the price of milk. Like like the little things in life kind of shed away from you and you're like, dude, this kind of like I don't have time for people's mundane bullshit problems. And then you realize that, dude, you literally are like that 99.985% that you were talking about. Like you're in that little tiny percentile that's not them anymore.
yeah.
It's weird, dude. It's so fucking weird having people be like, the price of gas went up 7 cents, and I only was able to get. And you're like, I don't fucking care. I almost just got hit by a rocket yesterday.
Yeah, no,
Like
you're
it's weird.
you know, you're in your book and you're like, I can't even do traffic jams because you're like, I either got to smash into him with a Humvee or you're worried that this is a stop and there's an anti-tank mine connected to a Nokia. Like,
Well, dude, and people are like, why do you own a Tesla? I don't own a Tesla because I give a fuck about the environment. It's because it drives me around.
oh yeah,
There's something about like dude, and I bought my Tesla before Trump got into office and Doge, so
who
all
gives a
my
shit? Fucking own it. I bought it because I'm a Nazi. Fuck, I'm not, but it's just
dude,
say whatever the fuck you want. Fuck these
all my
people.
all my conservative friends are like, oh, I love the environment. Ugh. And now that Elon Musk is a conservative, are like, nice Tesla, bro. Like, dude, it's such a
It's
weird
such a
paradigm.
people are such fucking lemmings that just need to be
It's
walked off a cliff.
dude,
Conservative and liberal, they all
oh
really need
dude,
to go.
just send them off. Just get the Pied Piper out here. All right, god damn it. But dude, there's nothing worse for me than like driving 2 hours. So I just let the Tesla do all the driving. And I do, and then when I get there, I can be relaxed and I'm not like yelling at my
You're
kids in
not
the
in
back,
this
being
like
like
I get
like turning
sad.
like turning down the radio because you can't see where you're going and it's too loud.
Yeah, where I am. Or no, when you get there and you're just exhausted and like there's no
Yeah.
real excuse because what's exhausting about being in a chair. But driving for 2, 3 hours, like you're kind of you go get to wherever the first night, you're kind of pooped.
Yeah.
I get that. But like to go back to what you're saying about like it gets kind of weird when you get that comfortable, new and exciting living in Baghdad. But then part of me is like, I don't think it I think again, I don't know. I can imagine where I would have my own internal qualms if I had like a wife and kid at home. Be like, man, if I die, that fucking sucks for them. But if I didn't have that, I don't know if it's weird. Like, why not? I mean, I don't know if you're part of some like fourth century group of like a horde going in and like lighting men on fire and like raping women and children. I could be like, well, this is maybe not. I maybe shouldn't be doing this. Dude, if you're just going to be in a contract, like who who cares if you don't? I don't have any like I don't have any qualms with like growing out of a genre or an artist of music. Like I looked back at like 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, I listened to a lot of Post Malone. And like 5 years before that, I'm like, I loved Blink 182. Now I'm like, yeah, I'm like discovering Biggie Smalls. I don't have any like
Except Limp Bizkit, dude. Fucking dude, I tried to listen to Limp Bizkit again. I was like, oh my god, I
well,
can't
my
believe I like
point
this.
is when I look back at this music, there's like nostalgic, like, oh, I remember those memories. But no part of me is like, oh, I abandoned them. I'm just like, because the part of me that likes them is no longer alive. That me no longer exists. So like I look at it fondly for the memories. I look at it as, one tiny little piece in the infinite puzzle that builds who I am currently. But I don't feel any because I'm doing this now. And one day I'm not doing the podcast. I don't think I'll feel like I abandoned it. I'll be like, no, that was fun and it made me money. But then, whatever, I met my wife or I decided I wanted to get into fucking like wood crafting. I wouldn't miss it because that person that liked it no longer exists. So if you slowly break away into almost a new species, that's what speciation is when they stop being somewhat similar and they finally break away into a new creature entirely, and then they can't mate. That's like the definition of speciation. When you speciate away into like, I don't want to talk about gas, people do all my chores for me, and I fucking get to roll around with a LMG. I don't know. For me, it would be if I had a wife and kids, I'd feel maybe a little weird about fuck if I die. But I don't know. I don't think it's weird because it's weird for me because I don't do that. But if subjectively you are this person that just slowly becomes this Blackwater guy, I don't think it is weird. Like, who
Well,
cares?
dude, how why does anybody still live in South Chicago? They're comfortable.
Yeah,
Like they grew up there. And dude, I grew up in a small town called Cottonwood, Arizona. And every time I go there, I go to like Home Depot to fix something at my mom's house. And it's like a high school reunion, dude. So
yeah.
many people just stayed there. Like they're comfortable there. So it's not, I guess it's not that, like, I know it shouldn't be comfortable living in Baghdad and being like, oh, hey, that mortar got pretty close to me today. But at the same time, like I go back to Cottonwood, and to your point, like I don't hit repeat on Cottonwood. I'm not fucking moving down there. Like it's nice to go there and say,
You're like,
hey, that's
oh,
where,
there's the thing, and I remember that.
yeah. Oh, hey, they put a nice new restaurant in there.
Oh,
That used to
that's
just
cool.
be, the homeless shelter. But it's, people get comfortable where they are. That's just how it's always going to be. It's an interesting paradigm. Like how do you get comfortable in South Chicago? If you and I move there tomorrow, we'd be like, oh fuck, dude, I'm not sticking around. But the people that have always grown up in there, like Flint, Michigan, they're like, dude, who cares? I'm growing a third fucking arm right now. The water's
Whatever.
terrible, but whatever. Why would I move?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Who's
I mean,
who was the dude? Remember when what's the mountain that blew up in Washington or in Oregon?
Helena.
Yeah, so there was a dude where they're like, "Hey, this mountain's gonna blow up," and he's like an old homesteader, and he's like, "That'll be all right," and he fucking ended up dying. Or Pompeii, dude, like Pompeii, they're like, "Hey, this thing just keeps on like spitting
Yeah,
out stuff," and people are like, "I'll be all right. It's not that big of a deal." And then there's the one picture of the guy from Pompeii that's like fucking rubbing one out when he died. Have you seen that?
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Like he's
That's
like,
what,
if I'm
yeah.
gonna go, I'm going in my home and I'm doing what I love.
And there's two ways to look at that. Like you look at Mount St. Helena, and what was that was in the 80s, I think, 90s,
Yeah,
80s,
late 70s,
yeah, whatever.
early 80s.
I look at that now and I go, man, you probably still could have been alive. And like, there's some fun shit. Like life is fun. Like it's suffering, but it is fun. But then there's like another level. You look all the way back at Pompeii, and there's no like, well, it's Helena. You could still be alive. It's like that's before like that's like 1,000 years before like stained glass windows. And you look at back that far, you go, what it what's really the difference between like Vesuvius like 467 AD and you could have lived to 480 AD. It's
I
all
mean, that's fair.
but no, my point is it's almost a new perspective. You look at Helena, you go, you could still be alive today and see TikTok and DoorDash. You look at Vesuvius or Pompeii and you go, it's all so far away that if you liked Pompeii and it's your stomping grounds and your homies are there, Maybe your mom and dad live down the road. Yeah, you died, but it's been so long, and everyone and everyone's grandkids and their grandkids are still been dead for 1,000 years. I think it allows you to maybe look at it a little more honestly and be like, eh, yeah, it's your home. Yeah, fuck it.
Well, and they probably just thought that it was like, Zeus's stomach was grumbling back then. It's not like we had the seismic activity measures that,
But
that we
but
do
that's
now.
like another thing, man. Is like we'll go forward 2,000 years. Maybe we somehow like biologically prove reincarnation's real. And like back then, people would be like, "Well, why would you do that if you just got like?" They really thought it was you had one ride, and so they went and joined Blackwater. We now know it's bullshit, but there might have been some guys that are just like, "Fuck it, you get one like." So I don't know. I've kind of flip flopped this entire episode on like joining and not joining and like understanding it. If we haven't pissed off enough people and we can kind of wrap it up with it, we might as well. I was just thinking, do you think something like snapped in Trump like the last week between him and Netanyahu? Because it's if you wanted to stop what's happening in Gaza, I've always thought the first thing you do is you would just have U.S. forces escort aid because that's like a total like, are you gonna mortar them? And then another part of me goes, if you want to draw the U.S. into an extended part of me is like, did Trump go balls? Or is this
Dude, I'll
am I
tell.
just looking at it like I can see it now? 51 Marines dead by a very advanced weapon that somehow happened to be Hamas. It wasn't Israeli based, and it wasn't, and it's going to be very weird. And there's going to be a bunch of fireproof passports. And next thing you know, we go that led to us somehow invading Turkey.
I'll give you. I'll look. I'll give you the straight poop on it because I know dudes that are doing it, and they are way undergunned. Right? They don't have any heavies. They don't
Yeah,
have any air
it's something
support.
seems fucked.
Um, Usually with private military contractors, they are working under a government umbrella, right? I worked under the State Department, you worked under the Department of Defense, you work under something that is US because you're a US citizen. And it gives you a little bit of legal coverage, right?
Yeah.
This is a new step in that because the funding is coming from Israel, Egypt, and UAE. So you have US citizens, a US private military contractor moving into a pseudo sovereign state from a sovereign state to deliver aid. And the guys on the ground are like, dude, this kind of feels like we we holistically the US doesn't want to put boots on the ground because it's
Mm.
not it's not something that the US population is going to agree to. So we put contractors on the ground and we feel like we're sitting ducks. Don't get me wrong, they're still going to stay there and make their $1,300, but they feel like sitting ducks, and it's a way to try to drag the U.S. into the conflict on one side or the other. Which, of course, if you're going to draw us in, you're going to draw us in on the Israeli side. So, um, I, I, I don't think this is something that snapped. I think it's a conscious evolution by private military contractors to expand what they can and can't do overseas. Because now you have Eric Prince in the DRC. He was just in El Salvador. He was in DRC doing rare earth minerals,
Hmm.
getting U.S. corporations on the ground and then protecting them with U.S. citizens. So if something happens, it gives somebody the ability to say, don't fuck with these guys because we got the US on our side. At the same time, if something happens, how does it escalate? Now, I'll give you two examples. One example is Somalia. We put the Rangers in there. Those guys got dragged through the streets. We fucking left. We were gone.
Hmm.
Second example, Blackwater has civilians in Fallujah 2004. They get killed. They get hung off a bridge. We literally changed our entire foreign policy to take Fallujah with the Marines right after that. So you have civilians in a combat zone, which is a change. And now you're using that to influence foreign policy. So is that the way business and war is going to be waged going forward? Because I think we're
I believe
slowly
so.
moving civilians closer to that front line. We're seeing it in Ukraine. You go on Twitter and it's like, hey, that guy sounds really American and he's on the front lines. Oh, well, he's a
No, he's a contractor.
trainer.
He's an advisor. He's a
He's an advisor. He's a trainer. But as soon as you kill a U.S. citizen, it's going to make the U.S. react one way or the other. They're either going to say we're fucking all in or we're fucking all out. And I don't like it, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of doing foreign policy, war policy by proxy using civilians. Because if you don't have the balls to put boots on the ground, I don't think you should have the balls to put civilians in that capacity.
It's certainly not new. The book Private Empire by Steve Call about ExxonMobil. Yeah, they would talk about like almost mirroring like Exxon's plans for international investment and like the new patrolling routes of aircraft carrier strike groups. And it wasn't just any private company, it's the private company that ultimately fueled aircraft carriers nuclear. Everything else is gas. And it was, you kind of see mirroring. And it's interesting the way it's either gonna, I hadn't thought about the get out side of it, but if it does, it's either going to accelerate it. So that's ultimately what it is it's an accelerant. It's an accelerant to either, hey, we got to leave Mogadishu, fuck this shit,
Yeah,
or it's an accelerant to this is an attack on U.S. citizens, and although they're private contractors, they are Either way, it's simply an accelerant to get to a predetermined choice. Whatever the desired outcome is, we've already made that decision in our mind. We want a reason to get the fuck out, or we want a reason to get in. Now we're simply putting a brake on the gas pedal, and I don't know what it is, and I have a very uneasy feeling it's for us to get all involved. I don't. I would like to be wrong. I'd like for it to be some hell froze over, and we're just like, yeah, no, fuck you. We're not doing this. Rationale and simple pattern recognition would imply that we're getting ready for like GWAT 2
well, dude, rare earth in Ukraine, rare earth in DRC,
and
like you're
Afghanistan. Don't forget.
yeah, fuck, dude, fuck Afghanistan. That place, that place, dude, that could have all the rare. This is the funniest part is people are like, oh, we're leaving Afghanistan. China's going to go in there and fill the vacuum, and I was like, dude, you could fill that vacuum all day, and the Taliban are still going to have people attacking the shit out of you because they're just their mentality is like, this is my piece of dirt, and if you put your feet on it, then it's
I'm gonna
fucking go
fucking
time.
kill you.
Yeah,
I've kind of got my own theory on that in terms of like it's like the shark hasn't evolved in something like 250 million years. Like the shark stopped evolve. We're still evolving very slowly. The shark stopped evolving because it's everything from the way it's from its blubber fatting to the arc of its fins and the ability to glide through water using minimal calories. The shark stopped evolving, which is already an eternal time set to stop evolving. The sharks stopped evolving before trees existed. And I look at that and we go, is it fucked up? Is it lazy? You go, no, it's perfect. It is perfect. I kind of look at the Middle East and I go, we can look at it and go backwards and they fuck each other and fuck goats and there's no power. And I go, what's like the undisputed champion? Alexander the Great, Soviet Union, United States. Is it the perfect evolution? It's just so fucked that it's produced a group of people that have been like, it's fucked and it's dirt and it's my dirt. The Middle East might be the most biologically fit. I didn't say advanced. If it's not changing over the millennia and it's taken down the powerhouses one after, what's the quote? It's the graveyard of empires.
yeah.
They might be the most, they might be the end state of evolution.
Dude,
Don't,
that's well. So I was talking about the guy that was the doctor I was talking about. He read the book and he's like, I was making a joke about how they fuck goats, and he's like, "You're serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude. They will fuck goats, dude. It's not that big of a deal." And he's like, "I thought you were joking in the book about them fucking goats." And I was like, "No, bro. Like they, like so if that's the end state of evolution, I don't really want to be a part of it."
evolution is not necessarily a good thing. That's another important part. The end state of evolution, it doesn't mean it's a good thing. It
No,
just
but dude, well,
has a process.
the other part of it is that they don't have, and maybe this is the perfect evolutionary thing is that they don't have a care about life the way that like life is not sacrosanct to them. It's just it's very it's it's very like, if it happens, it happens. If these guys blow us up, that's just the way it was supposed to do. So that's why you can go into places like Vietnam, you can go into places like Afghanistan, and you can win every single battle and lose every single war. It's because they're like, dude, we're stacking, 30, 40, 50 to 1, but they don't give a shit. They're just gonna keep throwing people at the meat grinder.
I think I just found a way to tie this all back in and to wrap it up is just because something is the end state of evolution doesn't mean it's good. I mean, I'm sure like the shark, it's the end state, but it just floats around in murky water I would much rather like see memes and Grand Theft Auto 6 and air travel and snowstorms and a new iPhone. And that one might be the end state of evolution, but this one's far more fun. I think that's what kind of goes back to the former discussion. Yeah, you could have a 9 to 5 and have everything, and that's the most stable thing. But so is being a shark. And like, I'm sure it's really cool to be a shark at first, but then you're just floating around in murky water quietly, doing nothing.
Eat a fish.
And it's probably boring.
It
I'd
is.
much,
It's got to be boring as shit, dude.
I'd much rather be like, where's the next year of the podcast going? So I think that's my final take is like, you can be the most stable, best job, best benefits, best everything. Doesn't necessarily mean it's subjectively at all desirable. But this is also perhaps confirmation bias because you and I are both in the 99.985 inverse percent that are like, fuck it, I don't want that. So I have no idea. Um, sorry, I kept you a little longer than an hour, but
No, no, dude. It's always good having a conversation with you.
fuck yeah, dude. Any timeline on the new book, or is it something you're just kind of tossing around?
And no, I'm about, dude. I'm only up to like first grade in it, and I'm at like 25,000 words because the one thing I've realized is that I remember everything from my childhood, and they say that's from trauma,
Yeah.
right? Like you remember traumatic shit, dude. A lot of traumatic shit happened before I was like 5, 6 years old. So, and dude, I think it's hilarious. Um,
I
so
remember everything because it was torture.
Oh, dude, I remember because the reason I started writing it is I was laying in bed with my wife and she said something about like kids putting stuff in their mouth, and I was like, dude, I swallowed a nickel when I was 4, and she's like, huh? I was like, yeah, I was just like, like I had a
Eating
nickel in
on
my
it.
mouth, I was
Or,
just fucking around, and she's like, and you swallowed it, and I was like, yeah, like I could feel it in my throat, but I had to really get it down so that like I wouldn't choke to death. And she's like, you didn't tell your family or anything? And I was like, no, I just told you. Like 40 years later, I just told you. So that felt good. Like I got that off my chest. And she's like,
like, we'll take all of that and put it in a book.
yeah, she's like, what the fuck? Like,
What else?
why would you have a nickel? Why? And I was like, that's not even the weirdest shit.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's
me,
impetus for a book.
yeah, like me just eating a nickel is like normal day. Like I was looking at my turd to see if I
Uh,
could find the nickel, and I'm
Yeah,
glad I didn't, because dude, I would have went for it. Because we do a nickel when I was a kid. That was serious business, dude.
absolutely. I was gonna say the reason you didn't tell your family is because your dad beat the shit out of you for taking his money.
Well, yeah, that between that
It's a
and being
big
like,
part.
dude, you don't tell somebody you almost choked to death on a nickel, because they'd be like, why the fuck were you eating a nickel? You get in trouble. You don't want to get in trouble,
Yeah.
dude.
So that's
So
how that should be the opening. Yeah, again, so the rest of this book is, well, what else haven't you told me? And then
oh,
that's how
dude,
it goes.
yeah. I,
Yeah.
I sent it to my buddy. This is how I know it's good. I sent it to my buddy, and he said, "Hey, have you talked to a therapist about this stuff yet?" And I was
There
like,
you
"Is
go.
that good?
There you go.
Is that good?"
There you go. Absolutely. When I see people comment, they're like, it's so beautiful to see Tommy use this podcast as therapy. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't use it as therapy. And a lot of people are like, no, you're clearly getting a lot of stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's how I know it's good. Because if people look at it and go, thank God this is a substitute for medical care, that's how I know it's good. It's
You're like,
like,
I'm a doctor.
I go, it's fair enough. I'm a doctor. Morgan was in Delta. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all fuck it, whatever. Um, But yeah, everybody listen, please go grab the book in the description. It is a good book, as you can tell by this discussion. Go follow him on Instagram and yeah, man, don't be a stranger. Hit me up for another one and let me know when the book gets closer.
Yeah, I will. This one, I got to get a little bit more runway out of this one,
Yeah.
and then
No, go,
I'll
yeah, no, no. Beat the shit out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I need enough people to read this to be like, that guy is has led the craziest life, and I'll be like, hold my beer, even though I'm sober.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold my beer. Let me tell you about my grandpa trying to teach me how to weld when I was 5. Like
I'd
it's
say
fucking on.
not that you need my advice, but I would say don't wait. I'd say keep pushing the book. You got to make money on it.
Yeah.
Go full steam ahead with the new one. I don't think I don't think any I don't think I got any reasonable amount of like views and downloads on my show until like year 4. I don't know.
It's
Don't
a
wait.
it's a marathon, dude. I gotta start plinking away. I got a couple of articles I gotta write for Skill Set magazine this week, but I'll start plinking away again at it. It's like spurts, right? Like I'll get crazy and just write 20,000 words, and then
Yeah.
I'll set it down for a couple of 2 3
Yeah,
weeks, and then
it's when you get the download, it flies through you. No, I know. I would say yeah, go because only just now am I like starting to make any sort of money. When I mean like $5, but on like old episodes. Because like now on Rumble they have a thing for like the number of hours people watch. You get a millionth of a penny. But I've done 1,700 episodes, and so for the first 5 years they were worth virtually nothing, and now they're still worth essentially a nickel that you choke on. But like you never know retroactively when it's gonna work. So I mean, you might put out this next book, it fucking hits it, and then you also people go and find what other work has he done. But you're the one who's written a book, not me. So I don't know why the fuck I'm telling you what to do. You do whatever you're doing. I don't. I'm gonna shut up. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So,
well, dude, it's always fun having a conversation with you. You open
like,
up.
yeah, brother. Yeah, man. It's
Dude,
fun.
it's my fucking therapy. Like what? Once every 3 times a year we have our therapy
You come
session.
do therapy, yeah. And I have no idea therapy. I'm not, but I will wear that. I will say I'm a psychiatrist, and you founded Delta Force. So
Yeah.
if anyone has an issue with that, you're un-American.
Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong, faggot. All right, brother. I'll
All right,
text
dude.
you when it's up. It'll be up tomorrow. I'll text it to you.
Okay, sounds
All
good,
right, big
dude.
dog. Thank you for your time. Guys,